Welcome to Comic Chop News. I'm Dan, and today going to be doing a non-spoiler review for Spider-Man Far From Home. So, my first thoughts on Spider-Man Far From Home are, it's a little long. It's kind of like when you have a big meal and you think you're full, and then you get away from the table and then realize you're still hungry. That's what the movie left me feeling. A lot happened. The pacing was actually fairly good in it. But it just was unfulfilling. It just left me feeling empty when I left, and that's a horrible feeling to have. So I'll start out with the good of it. Mysterio, the fight scenes with him were super interesting. It's stuff they probably couldn't have done 10 to 12 years ago when the other one came out. So looking at what they can do, Jake Gyllenhaal was decent as the character. Happy and Aunt May, they are they, aren't they storyline going through, gave a couple of good laughs. Where my problem started in with the movie was the same problem I had with Homecoming, where I thought there was a little bit too much of the side characters. The side characters were actually getting some of the better dialogue and lines, and Peter kind of had to keep doing his idiot savant thing. Some of the stuff with MJ was cute, but again, like, I feel like Peter at times got shoved to the side so Ned and some of the other characters could get their lines in at his expense. Oh boy. So the crux of it, we start out with Maria Hill and Nick Fury in Mexico, and they're seeing this devastated village, and then a monster appears, and then we get introduced to Quentin Beck, Mysterio, or as he's called, Mysterio. I'm trying not to even spoil this. Peter basically is having to go up against the legacy of Tony Stark, where he feels this kind of pressure to be the next Iron Man. Tony leaves these glasses that have this acronym. It's called Edith, and the acronym is Even Dead, I'm the Hero, named by Tony. It's basically a little bit of, what was it, Friday in Homecoming, but on a more major scale, where it's all of, like, the defense satellites, and this leads into the crux of Mysterio later on. Peter now discovers that he's in love with Mary Jane, and he likes her a lot, so he's thinking this trip to Europe, he's got this master plan, and everything keeps going wrong. The two teachers that are with them on the trip are fairly funny, especially J.B. Smoove has some fantastic lines in it. The other teacher, I can't remember his name, but he's the emotional teacher, I guess would be the word to say for it. Nick Fury is a little off character, which we find out later. Also, there are two after credit scenes. Well, one's a mid credit and one's a really long after the credit scene. One of them is fantastic. One of them is kind of like, oh, okay, sure, why not? Again, Peter, I felt like he was in the back seat for some of the movie, and it was a little disappointing. Again, Mysterio, the effects they do for when he makes his villain turn are fantastic, and again, like, ripped right out of the comic, and the kind of how he pulls it off was interesting. Ah, boy, there's so much in this. There's a lot of Easter eggs. The cars that Nick Fury drives in all have comic references to him, so keep an eye on those license plates on them. Some of the comedy in this is a little too jokey for my liking. It was like they had studio notes from the first one, and they just went way overboard on it. Another thing, like, Mysterio, while, like, I thought it was a decent take on the character, didn't have the emotional weight that I felt like the Vulture had, where the Vulture, to me, felt menacing many times. Especially in Homecoming, that talk with going to the homecoming dance where he's telling Peter basically he'll kill everybody he knows. Michael Keaton just in that just was menacing. Quentin, Beck, Mysterio is kind of played a little bit goofy. There are things in this. Keep an eye on what people are doing at certain times, because you'll have an aha moment near the end. If I were going to rate this, I'm probably sitting right now at a 6.5 out of 10, and I may even feel I might be a little too high on that. Maybe on a second viewing my opinion will change, but right now I'm not in love with this movie, and it's weird because I was very stoked, especially with this is the end, this is the tie-up of Phase 3, and the lead into Phase 4, and it just felt hollow, like there wasn't enough substance and soul for me to really come out of the movie like, I'm so excited. My other friend who went with me really, really liked it. My friend Gambit, we both came out saying that we both felt kind of empty. We enjoyed it, just didn't love it and didn't walk away with anything really to kind of carry with us. It's not a think piece at all. There's nothing to it. There's really nothing to it. There's just, it's hollow. It's a hollow movie. I left empty. And I hate that because this is the first Marvel movie I've walked out of that, like, since shit, even Iron Man 2, there was something I, like, left talking about. Maybe Thor Dark World? This was flawed, and maybe it would have been different with the writers from Homecoming on it to kind of step up. This just felt like a diminishing return movie, and I really, really hate that. And also, I don't know if it's for the toy line or something, but there's a lot of costume changes in this movie. There's a lot. I think Spidey went through 3 or 4 costumes, including the Night Monkey costume, which, watch the movie, you'll understand. Without spoiling anything, I can't really go into any details on stuff. I would like to, but I just can't, especially the mid-credit and post-credit scenes. But having said that, tell me your thoughts. Comment, like, subscribe, share. I'd really like to hear your thoughts on it because right now I am struggling. And I know this has been more of a reaction than a review video, but I just walked out of the theater 10 minutes ago and really, really struggling to put my thoughts into this because I have no strong feelings either way on it. And that's odd because, like, Captain Marvel, I didn't love, but there was a lot that I could talk about that stayed with me. And this has nothing except for the mid-credit scene. And then, you know, how cool the effects were for Mysterio's fight. The holograms, everything. It was fantastic. I mean, it's basically how I imagine in the comics it would work. So yeah, guys. Go see the movie. Come have your own thoughts and what you really think of the movie. Don't let what I say kind of color your view at all. Go in as fresh as you can into the movie, and let me know what you think. Have fun, and again, like, comment, share, subscribe. Take care and good night.